Greetings to ye. 'Tis a fine day to be selling the salty brine. But between the keel hauling, looting, and plundering, there be many hours of nothing at all. 'Tis why I, Captain Thickbeard, be listening to the Thiccbois podcast. If you find yourself keen on the podcast as well, mayhaps you leaving a like, a rating, and a review on your favorite podcast platform. 'Tis the best way to support it after all. Yarr!
So, let's go ahead and talk about the DoorDash thing that happened.
Oh, yeah.
So, for anybody that missed it, don't be sad that you did.
A lot of people thought that
they thought they were finessing the system.
They're being real fucking slick.
So, apparently, from my understanding, DoorDash had some kind of glitch where, so you would place an order, and then, you would.
It was like a convenience order, right?
I think it was any order. You could replace. So you would place an order, and then you would remove your debit card or credit card, or whatever it happened to be, from the app, and then you could continue with the order because it would save it in your cart.
Yeah.
So it would hang on to that information. So you put everything in your cart, and then you go in your settings, remove your payment option, and then you go back into your cart and you place the order. So people were essentially getting free stuff. And so some people didn't.
I guess it just doesn't make any sense. Like, how is it that the system isn't checking against itself to make sure that there's a payment method available before you're able to proceed with the purchase?
I haven't the slightest idea. Some kind of, so it's probably some small thing
you
that they overlooked.
Whoever the senior dev was on that was probably like,
oh dear
fuck.
God, oh Jesus Christ. Well, yeah, because DoorDash lost $42 million.
I bet they
initially. I don't know how much of that they recovered. So what happened was people started doing things like buying cognac and $11,000 bottles of liquor and household items. That people were buying TVs and stuff like that. And then I think DoorDash managed to put the kibosh on that within 24 hours. And then the next day, people's accounts got charged for all the stuff that they ordered.
I bet they did.
I remember seeing people posting on Twitter, waking up to negative tens of thousands of dollars in their banking accounts.
Oh,
I don't feel bad for you.
Oh, poor little baby.
Poor little baby didn't get away with the thievery.
I always think it's funny when people's debauchery backfires on them.
Oh yeah, it's the greatest thing ever.
And then they run to the internet to try.
Help me, I'm a victim.
Yeah, try.
I can't think of any way that this could have been avoided.
I just always think it's funny when somebody gets just their comeuppance. I mean, not that I'm a fan of DoorDash. I think it's a real shit fucking company.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. As far as comeuppance goes, did you hear about Bungie suing that YouTuber?
No.
Okay. So Bungie, the company that used to make the Halo games.
Yeah. They make, Destiny now?
Destiny. They make a game called Destiny now. There was a YouTuber. I'm trying to remember the dude's name. I think it was Lord Nazo was the name of his channel.
Mm-hmm.
And the dude, it was a small channel, and the dude had 3,000 subscribers. And what he was doing was he was uploading the music from the game to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't just take music and put it up on YouTube and then collect ad revenue off of it.
Yeah.
So and Bungie is pretty lenient about copyright strikes and things like that because if people are uploading footage of their player base playing the game and engaging with the game, the community, and everything.
Yeah, that's just free marketing.
That's
for
free
them.
marketing
Yeah.
for them, right? But, it has to be a little bit more than you just stripping their fucking music that they own and putting it up on YouTube and making money off of it.
Well, I also know that there's like channels that I've seen where people like upload like the Doom soundtrack, but I don't know if they're collecting ad revenue off of it or if they're just throwing it up there so people can listen to it.
I would imagine that they are, because if it's still up, then it's probably not.
See, that's probably where he fucked up then, was trying to collect ad revenue off of it.
Bungie, sorry, not Bungie. They have a company that handles like their copyright stuff. It's called like CX or something like that. So CX issued a copyright strike against this guy.
Yeah.
And he went fucking nuclear. He went for the nuclear option straight away. Not only did he continue to do what he was doing, but he made several fake Gmail accounts posing as the CX company for Bungie.
Yeah.
And started issuing DMCA takedowns against other Bungie like fan videos.
Really?
And Destiny players and stuff. He issued 96 DMCA takedowns in 2 days.
Whoa.
Not only that, but one of those DMCA takedowns was for a video on Bungie's official YouTube channel. So people who
what a fucking savage.
I know. And so people like who, are career YouTubers, some channels are dedicated to like one game. They just upload content for that one game.
Yep.
And so several of these people who upload or stuff for Destiny are like, well, oh shit, my stuff's getting taken down. I can't do this anymore. That's what they're, thinking. And rightfully so. They would be right to think that way. And so they started calling out Bungie on Twitter, shitting all over from
Bungie's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, Bungie's like, what are you talking? We're not doing that. And so Bungie, who is like a, multi-million-dollar company, had to do the fucking gauntlet of drop-down menus and shitty customer support that every tech company has now.
Yeah.
You can't get a hold of a real person.
Yeah.
They had to subpoena like information from Google. So they're trying to figure out who's doing this to them.
Yeah.
And they eventually found out that it was that guy. But like in the midst of all of that, he was like messaging Bungie. He was complaining to Bungie, like, why are you taking down our videos, like on Twitter with everyone else? And then Bungie made a statement saying, we swear to God it's not us.
Yeah.
Like, we have proof that it's not us.
Yeah.
And he, Lord Nazo, was on Twitter going, I just knew it wasn't you guys. Like, you guys are great.
Oh, no. He's a complete fucking psychopath.
And
he's like American Psycho.
Oh yeah,
like
I was watching a video about it, and like the longer it went on, I was just like, this is fucking nuts. They also found, because they had subpoenaed like his IP address, so they had everything. He uploaded and everything like that, downloaded all that.
He should have been using NordVPN.
Yeah, for real. He had also posted a manifesto in his Discord server about how he was going to bring attention to the shitty copyright practices of YouTube. But he wasn't a victim of anything.
No.
What he was doing was illegal.
Yeah, absolutely. Is it me, or does it seem like everybody has a fucking manifesto now?
Yeah.
What is up with that?
Yeah, you're not a fucking mass shooter, dude. You just you're a copyright criminal.
You're like, what do you think?
Calm down.
You going to take down the fucking bourgeoisie? Like, fucking, you idiot.
I don't know why, like, it was after his first copyright strike that he did all this. And, like, I don't understand why he thought he was being victimized when what he was doing was clearly illegal.
Okay, so even if you went by the statement of two wrongs don't make a right, it's like, well, certainly 96 wrongs don't make a right. It's like, you asshole, you drug all these other people into this.
Yeah. And I think it's funny that, YouTube didn't catch that Bungie was issuing copyright strikes on itself. Like when he did that one against their own video. Like that was like way too...
Yeah.
Why did he think that was okay to do?
Well, after what happened with Ackman...
Yeah.
I have no faith in YouTube anymore.
Yeah, I have absolutely zero.
It's just like this faceless mass of fucking bullshit.
It's like this big machine.
Yeah.
It's just like sitting out in the field like a monolith.
Yeah.
And you go up and you put your content in it and just see what happens. You might get some ad revenue. You might get deleted. It just depends.
Like this massive machine with this little screen on it.
Yeah. I just thought it was so funny that he was like playing both sides. Like he was the one causing all the problems, but then he was also like standing in the crowd like, we knew it wasn't you, Bungie. But they, like, I want to say the actual number is $2.6 million.
What they sued him for?
Is what they sued him for. Because they had to expend a lot of money and time in order to find out what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
So Bungie was pissed at, obviously, that guy. But they were also pissed at Google and YouTube because it was such a pain in the ass and they had to jump through so many fucking legal hoops just to figure out what the hell was going on. Because they couldn't talk to a person.
You know what? Good thing they're a fucking corporation. They can do that.
Well, see, that's the thing. If Bungie, a multi-million-dollar company, had to do that and lost millions of dollars in the process, what chance does just a normal regular guy on YouTube have if he gets falsely copyright struck?
Well, like I said, we saw what happened with Ackman. Yeah. He essentially called them out, and then they took down the video and then demonetized his channel.
They remonetized him recently.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, so
Good.
They gave him his status back, which if anybody deserves it, it's him.
No.
I was subscribed to Ackman like back when he had like 50,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I saw him come a long way, He makes decent content.
Yeah, I think I subscribed to him when he was like 200,000. It is always kind of nice, like especially when you catch somebody early and then, like you kind of see the channel growth.
Yeah.
It's always like, well, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember when you weren't that person.
Like, not to be like a hipster about it or anything.
Yeah.
It's funny, like, if you'll go back and watch, like, some of his videos, like, when he was first starting to get popular versus how he is now, you can kind of see them kind of settle into, like, their style.
Yeah, the evolution of the channel.
Of the channel, yeah.
Well, especially, too, like, when somebody gets up over, like, a million subscribers, it's like they're putting in a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's
a full-time job.
Yeah, it's a full-time job. It's you can't have another job anymore.
Mm-mm. Especially because, like,
And he makes long-form videos.
Yeah.
So he's making like 42-minute videos for which on YouTube is really long.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and on YouTube too, it's like if you don't upload constantly, I mean, the algorithm will fuck you because people will not necessarily lose interest. It's just that your stuff doesn't get pushed to the front of their feeds.
Yeah.
Like, they changed the way subscriptions used to work. Like, if you subscribed to a video, you would automatically be notified when that person uploaded.
Mm-hmm.
But now, it hides their uploads and all this other crap unless you go out of your way to go to their channel page and click on the alerts and turn the alerts on.
Yeah.
Even then, I don't personally believe that it works correctly all the time.
Well, isn't it like with the alerts, it's like sometimes it's like they'll just like send you an email like so-and-so has posted a new video. It's like, well, dude, I hardly ever check my Gmail anymore.
Yeah.
It's like most of it's because I'm afraid to look in there because I've let it get out of hand.
Yeah.
It's like, so I really don't want to have to even bother with it right now.
It's like, I'll just pretend that's not there. I watched a video a while back. Part of the reason too that I think, all these, social media companies like YouTube and Facebook and so on and so forth have moved to this completely automated customer service thing where, if you have a problem, it has to fall within the purviews of like these 10 items in this drop-down menu.
No.
And if it doesn't fit any of that, you will literally wind up on a screen that says, sorry, we can't help you.
No.
There's no number to call. There's no email address to send an email to.
No.
You are literally fucked if you can't find your problem in those issues.
No.
Like, I have this one problem in particular where I have an account for, I think, MySpace. It might be MySpace. It might be RuneScape. I can't really remember. But I wanted to delete that account.
Yeah.
But in order to delete that account, I need to be able to access the Yahoo email that I signed up with. I don't remember the password for that email.
Yeah.
So I go to Yahoo. I put in the email address.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I click the forgot password option, and it says, oh, sorry, this email has been deactivated.
Talking about Yahoo?
Yeah, because I never used...
Yeah, I had the same issue with Yahoo.
Yeah, because I didn't use
And there's
the
no
email.
number.
Yeah, there's nothing to do.
You want to know how I fixed it?
It's just up forever.
You know how I fixed it?
What?
I contacted the Better Business Bureau, and I got the number. You laugh. You laugh. But there's been like 3 times in my life where the first time it happened was...
It's like having a problem with the police station and going to the FBI about it.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
So the first time I ever used the Better Business Bureau, I thought it was bullshit. I was like, there's no way that the BBB is going to be able to do anything.
Yeah.
I was like, it's a bunch of horse shit. I'll launch a complaint and it'll be whatever.
Yeah.
So we had ordered 2 different pieces of furniture from Rooms to Go. Both of these pieces of furniture ended up getting to our house like 10 hours late.
Really?
One of them got delivered at midnight and the other one got delivered at 1:30 in the morning.
Who the fuck's making deliveries that late?
I guess
Rooms to Go is.
I guess Rooms to Go is doing it. And so the first one I was like, okay, that was a fluke.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had a bunch of shit that was going on. Like it's not a big deal. The second one, they delivered it. I was like, this is standard operating procedure for them.
Yeah.
So I contacted their customer support directly. I was like, hey, this is not okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what you need to do in order to fix this or whatever, but I'm letting you know.
Yeah, you can't just leave my stuff out in the elements.
Yeah. No,
overnight.
they like banging on the door at 1:30, like, we need to bring your shit in your house.
Oh, really?
I was like, I don't want random people walking around in my house at 1:30 in the fucking morning.
Oh, wow.
So they were like, well, sir, we can't help you. I was like, I'm not asking for help. I'm telling you, you need to fix your shit.
Right, yeah.
And then...
Hey, help yourself.
Yeah. And then so finally, like, I got off the phone with this person. I was like, yo, fuck that. I was like, I'm going to go launch a complaint with the Better Business Bureau. And that's exactly what I did. Well, I got contacted back by Rooms to Go, and they offered me a refund on both of those deliveries.
Really?
Yeah. So I got my money back for both of those deliveries, and that's not what I wanted. Because like on the Better Business Bureau thing, it'd be like, what do you want? It's like, I'm launching a complaint to let you know that you need to fix your shit. And it's like, and I had that same problem with Yahoo, where I had an old account I couldn't get logged into. I couldn't find a number to call. Mm-hmm. I couldn't find anything. And then so I contacted the Better Business Bureau and launched a complaint. And within a day, they gave me a phone number to call.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, even though that worked, you shouldn't have to go to those links.
No.
You shouldn't have to go over their heads.
Remember when I felt like a real fucking Karen
I
doing
know, right?
that?
Yeah. It's like, you really have got to wrong me in order for me to complain.
No, I've only done it 3 times.
Yeah.
There was that time, and then I did it with Delta one time because they really pissed me off. But
I mean, you shouldn't.
I don't feel bad about doing it to airlines.
Yeah, well,
they're real jackasses.
You should like. The point stands though. You shouldn't have to go to those links just to get some fucking help.
Yeah.
Right from the company that provides the service.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my coworkers recently, he was having a problem with trying to deactivate his credit card that he didn't use anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, they charge like an annual fee of like $95, which, over a course of a year, that's nothing. That's like $3 a month, something like that. So he called the bank, and they kept giving him the runaround, this, that, and the other. And finally, he got a hold of somebody, and he was like, "Look," he was like, I'm ready to just close out my account with you entirely."
Yeah.
He was like, "It's unreasonable what you guys have put me through.
Yeah.
All I want to do is close out this credit card account." He was like, "I haven't used it for like 6 years,
Yeah.
and it just keeps trying. You just get free $95 off me a year."
Yeah.
He's like, "I want to do that." And they were like, "Well, sir, we can refund you the fees that we've taken. And
That would be great.
we can add a 5% cashback bonus to your card
No.
for the next 2 years." I was like, "Are you people just making this shit up on the fly?"
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing.
There's like no standard procedure in place.
No.
It's just like, if they get really, really mad, just give them free things.
Yeah.
Like, see how much you can fuck them
Yeah.
until they turn around and say, "Stop it."
Yeah. See how much they'll take.
I mean, you know, like I said, you've really got to fuck up in order for me to like complain.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I understand, like, especially if I'm you know, using a service or going to a company that provides a service, and I understand that they're busy.
Yeah.
Or, you know, sometimes things get lost in translation. I understand that things happen because it's people running this thing.
Yeah.
But
Well, and you know, most of the time it's like it's not the people that are actually providing the actual service that I'm upset with, because I know that they've probably got a bajillion fucking things that they got going on.
yeah.
They're trying to like make sure that they can get all their shit done. It's like all the Amazon drivers that have to piss and shit in bottles.
yeah. Oh, the UPS guy who collapsed had a fucking heat stroke on that person's porch.
Really?
Oh, you didn't see that?
Uh-uh.
Yeah. Like those. And you know what UPS's response to that was?
I bet it was some fucking stupid.
They were like, "Our vehicles make so many frequent stops that it's pointless to put air conditioning in the trucks."
What?
That was their response.
They're like roll the window down?
Yeah, all the drivers said the only thing they can do is just drive with the doors open. It's the only way to get any air in that vehicle. But yeah. So like, it's not the delivery drivers that I'm at. The people, the faces that you see.
Yeah.
It's all the people like that are hiding behind all of that.
If the face does like they did with you that time and take your shit and launch it up onto the fucking... Then you have somebody that took a package, like threw it up onto your fucking porch.
Oh yeah.
It's like, yeah, man.
Yeah, I can be mad at you for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna be mad at you for that.
Yeah. I mean, thankfully, that was just like, I'm pretty sure it was like something that was made out of paper anyway.
Yeah.
The point remains, don't throw my package from the driveway up onto my porch.
Here's your fucking shit.
Yeah. I mean, if he had broken something, obviously I would complain about that because I don't want my things to be broke.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's like in the middle of the Christmas season and I order something and it takes a long time to get here, I'm not going to complain about that. I understand.
Yeah.
Like, number one, I waited until Christmas to order whatever that thing was.
Yeah, and I do know that last year in particular was pretty bad, especially for the was it the FedEx location that was right up the road from you guys?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
Where
one
it's
made
like,
news.
Yeah, people's shit went missing, and they found like a bunch of it like in a ditch somewhere.
Yeah, somebody dumped a truck full of items just in a ditch. Said, "There it is."
What a fucking scumbag.
I know. And like, people were getting hired on to do espionage to figure out what the fuck was going on in that building.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they ever figure out what was going on?
People just weren't doing their jobs.
Oh.
They just weren't delivering packages. They weren't doing anything.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
But you would think that FedEx would launch their own investigation and figure out what the fuck's going on down there.
I don't give a fuck.
Why is the public having to be fucking 007 and go in there and figure out what's going on?
They don't give a fuck.
Because they don't give a fuck.
No.
It's passive income. The money keeps flowing in regardless of what they do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially too with like delivery services, it's like you really don't have a fucking choice. It's like you got 3 fucking choices. Well, really 4 choices, but DHL really does like large
stuff like in crates.
Yeah, stuff in crates and shit like that. Like you have,
like if you order an engine.
Yeah, you have like USPS, which is fucking garbage.
Yeah, they operate to a loss.
Yeah,
since its inception.
Yeah.
Did you know that the USPS it loses money every year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but that's what happens when you have a government regulated agency.
Yeah.
And then you also have UPS, and you have FedEx. which out of the three, UPS is the best.
Yeah.
FedEx is a very far second, and in my opinion, USPS is fucking third.
Yeah.
I've never had anything delivered by DHL, so I don't really know.
Yeah, me either. I mean, I've had, I saw it a lot last year was, Amazon was having people deliver stuff in their vehicles, like in your personal cars.
I've had people pull up to our house just in a car.
Yeah.
And like bring out a fucking Amazon package. Like got out of like a Ford Taurus.
Yeah. It was like, we need you to deliver packages today, but we're all out of our Mercedes vans.
Yeah.
Which
There
was probably a cheaper
I've seen
option.
people pull up in fucking Penske fucking like trailer trucks.
Yeah.
And get shit out of the trailer truck
I've seen
and
people
bring
pull
it
up in U-Hauls.
Yeah.
If your company's having to rent vehicles from other companies,
Maybe your fleet should be larger.
your fleet, you need to do something.
It was like, do you know how much shit probably gets ordered from Amazon, but like per minute?
It's unreasonable.
What would you
It's
think
unreasonable.
if you had to take a guess?
Are we talking about like items, like a per item basis?
Like how many orders do you think Amazon processes
A minute.
per minute?
I honestly believe something close to 10 or 20 million a minute.
I bet it's 75 million.
You think so?
I bet it's closer to 75 to 100 million orders per minute.
That's
You want to know why I say that? Is because most of the shit that they sell is cheap bullshit.
it's just trash. Yeah.
It's just trash.
Yeah. Like nobody's really
it's
getting
just-
anything
no,
worthwhile
it's
off
just-
Amazon.
It's just bullshit that you really don't fucking need. That people get on there and they like lay back in their fucking recliner and are like, ooh, and just mindlessly fucking scroll through fucking Amazon. Like, oh, this looks nice. And then they click, oh, look at this. They have a one-click purchase button.
Yeah.
And one's I was like, "Hey, you fat fuck!
Yeah.
Would you
It's
like
just-
to make it? Would you like for me to make it easier? Hey, how about you just lay back and you just blink your fucking eyes, and we'll go ahead and make that purchase for you.
Yeah.
You greedy little piggy.
Okay, so I just Googled it. Amazon's statistics imply that SMBs, whatever that is, sells approximately 4,000 products on Amazon per minute. According to the platform's own statistics from 2019, small and medium. Oh, so this is from 2019.
Wow,
And
that's old. That's old data.
That's
then.
old data. Small and medium-sized businesses sell over 4,000 items each minute in the U.S. alone. So there's a lot to take there.
Hey, that said business. That didn't say them.
Yeah,
That said
that's
businesses.
Small and medium. So businesses will sell their products on Amazon.
Yes, correct.
But Amazon also has its own shit.
Yes. Well, but that's also not saying how many orders they've processed per
Yeah.
minute. Because they're the ones that are processing the order.
Right.
They're the broker.
Yeah. And when you start looking at like, I mean, of course, there's the whole issue with the one-click purchase and like people just mindlessly consuming products.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like they might as well. It's like, was you ever seen the South Park episode where they send all the men to Mars and they have the cum and joke farms or whatever?
Yeah.
They might as well just have people like laid up with like one-click purchases.
Yeah. I mean, just like you're fused into your couch just ordering things. I mean, Amazon will like, there's things now where Amazon can, scan a code that lets them into your house and they put the package in your house. Like
What?
how long before like
Why?
they have people who just bring it and put it in your lap.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I ordered the new Xbox with the brand new like Madden game, and they're
Yeah.
like, somebody comes in their house and they sit down on the couch, plug it in, and
play
play
it
it
for
for you. Like,
It's just a fucking IV drip of like instant gratification.
ugh.
It's really gross when you think about it. It really, really is. Like with the drone delivery and everything like that.
It's the same fucking thing with, and that's how I make fucking side money. But fucking Uber Eats and fucking DoorDash.
Yeah, but that's food. Food is different than like.
Is it really?
Food is-
because the food that I'm delivering isn't sustenance.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like I'm delivering like a fucking taco party pack from
Yeah.
fucking Taco Bell.
Yeah, to like one dude.
It's like that's not going to provide anybody any sustenance. That's going to be providing somebody with diarrhea in the morning. Like,
Yeah. I now will order 12 tacos from the internet. I'll summon them from the internet. And a downtrodden man will bring them to my doorstep. Yeah. It's I really think that some of these businesses, the service that they're providing, they're getting too big.
Yeah.
And not too big that like it probably is unfair to other companies trying to do the same thing, but they're too big to operate. They were stretched too far.
Correct.
They're stretched too thin. They're too big. They can't handle they can't eat what they've bitten off. They can't chew what they've bitten off.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, there was a video I watched a while back where somebody kind of broke down like the amount of the hours of video that is uploaded to YouTube.
Yeah.
Like per day. I remember. I think the figure is something like 80 million hours of video.
I wonder what that is in like data. It has to be like hundreds of petabytes of data that they're scanning.
You know that data has to be stored in a physical space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I know for a fact
that whole like cloud infrastructor thing or whatever. That's a server farm somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. There's a matter of fact. There's a building right off of Donald Lee L. Holloway. That's a hard. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Right over there near Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
There's a building over there because one of the job sites I used to have to go to, I drove past it, and it was a server warehouse, and it had these giant tanks of liquid nitrogen on the outside of the building.
Oh, yeah.
They pump liquid nitrogen into this building to cool those servers down because those servers have to, they can't get hotter than like room temperature. Even room temperature is a little bit warm for a server. But yeah, it was like YouTube uploads like 80 million hours of video, I think, a day.
That's so fucking crazy.
It's it's to the it's anything and everything. So right, it's dudes like PewDiePie whose videos are being watched, but it's also fucking nobody people who are uploading their 4-hour long stream of them playing Tetris that nobody watched.
Yeah,
that's on there. That's taking up space just like all the other stuff is. So there really is no reasonable way for all of that to have human eyes touch it.
And I would think too that eventually at some point you're going to have to purge some information from the internet. You can't store all of it.
Yeah.
Like I understand like being like, oh, we're going to continue to make like advancements in like microprocessors and that kind of stuff.
You'd only go so small.
Yeah, but you can only go so like I think now they have like some they're like the size of like a grain of rice or smaller than that, like the head of a pin.
Memristors and things like that. Yeah.
And there's some type of law that they have for that. It's like the microprocessors, like they double in speed or like operating capacity.
Yeah.
I think every 2 years or something like that. Mm-hmm. They had mentioned it or something when I was in college, but I don't remember the name of it now. But they're saying how it's fascinating that it continues. Like everybody's like, it'll stop eventually. And it just keeps fucking going.
Yeah. Yeah, but the point remains, like we said, that data has to be stored in a physical location. It has to take up physical space, and there's only so much of that.
Right.
And if we continue to, upload and download and process hundreds of thousands of orders a second, I mean, it's going to get to a point where eventually they're going to be like, we've got to figure something out. We're going to have data like exist like on a quantum level.
Yeah.
Like, or store it off world or something, or in orbit or something like that.
Honestly, one thing that I do wish that I would have invested in or like got started with the first time I went to school was like I would have like actually done like computer science or something like that, and then understood what server farms were getting ready to be.
Yeah. And
then like maybe started with like one rack with like some blade servers or something like that, and being like, oh, I'll rent the space out. Yeah,
because even then, I mean, if you had the capital to put up for like a small warehouse, a tiny warehouse, I mean, say like
you could probably run it out of your house for a year or so.
4x5 square foot, just shack building.
Yeah.
And you'd have costs, you'd have a lot of energy costs and things like that. But the money that you'd be making just from renting out the servers would more than pay for that.
Oh, absolutely.
But now it's got to the point where like these mega corporations are buying up huge buildings and pumping liquid nitrogen into them. And, there's only so much liquid nitrogen in the world, and it's
like the barrier for entry now is it's too high. You can't get in.
Yeah, it's like we talked about before. It'd be like if you wanted to open up a grocery store.
Yeah.
Good fucking luck.
Yeah, this isn't like the 1950s where it's like you're not going down to the local 5 and dime.
Yeah, there's no mom and pop server shop.
No. Yeah, it's not happening. Well, everything just moves so fast. And, I think you see that with like all kinds of different businesses. Like eventually they get so big, they reach like critical mass.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like you can't operate correctly anymore.
Yeah.
Like you're having to continue to operate to continue, especially I feel like it happens when companies go public because it's like you're not beholden.
Yeah, now you have shareholders.
Now you have
stuff.
shareholders.
You have like a fiduciary responsibility to like the people who've invested in your
Right.
business. So every action that you take and every decision that you make has to please the shareholders first before you can even worry about what the customers are thinking and feeling.
That's why if I ever owned a business, there's no fucking way I would ever take it public.
No, that's why Thiccboi's podcast is private.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why.
That would be why.
Yeah. We're still trying to figure out how to please you guys.
I guess we should eventually bring this podcast in.
I guess we should. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 34th episode of the Thiccbois podcast. Sorry, we just kind of launch off on tangents. You know how we do. We have a Super Cringe Thursday we need to get into.
We do.
So for anybody that didn't see it, it's a little TikTok that a Army wife did. No, I'm sorry, she's a Marine wife. I better get that right.
No.
Because it would piss her off more than it would him, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And her Marine husband, boyfriend, fiance, whatever he happens to be, she's got him standing behind her. Is it parade rest?
He's at parade rest.
He's at parade rest. So he's standing there with his arms behind his back. And she's in front of him, and she's doing like, what is she doing? It's not dancing. It's like voguing. I don't know what it is. But she's saying shit like, he's a Marine, Semper Fi, he blah, 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 blah. It's just all
First to fight.
Oh, God.
I remember when that came out.
Oh, is that an older video?
It's older.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I don't remember what I was doing, but I was like, what should we do for Super Cringe Thursday?
Yeah.
And that video just happened to like come out of the ether.
Yeah.
And like implanted itself in my head.
Remember me?
And I was like, oh, fuck, that one was bad.
Yeah.
So the first time I ever saw that video, I remember it was making its rounds on some of like the military Facebook pages that I follow.
Oh, man.
And so I open it up and I see him standing there at parade rest, and she does that little like arm thing where she's like, he's the Marine. And I was like, ugh. I just turned it off. That took me like a year to watch the whole fucking thing. Because I was like, I already know where that's headed. Like, I can't.
If you look at his face during the video, he's stoic.
Pain.
But it's not stoicism because he's a Marine. It's stoicism because he is in pain. He really doesn't want to be a part of it. You can see it in his eyes. You can't hide that. You can stand there and not smile and keep your cheekbones low all day long, but your eyes will not lie to us, sir.
No.
We can see it.
Dead inside.
When I watched it, my first thought was, that man got fucking dogged by his fellow Marines.
Oh, yeah.
And it will never stop.
No. Listen, if somebody did that bullshit while I was in the Navy, if they'd have came to the ship the next day, they'd have fucking got it.
Oh, yeah.
They would have fucking got it. You can ask any veteran.
Yeah.
They'd have been like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We'd let you fucking have it, dude.
I mean, he he shouldn't have been a part of that.
No.
He should have told her no.
No, he'd been like, guess what I'm not going to fucking do?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be part of your fucking TikTok. And actually, you know, that I think the funny thing is that I think that was one of the first big TikToks that ever came out. Because it was so fucking cringe.
Yeah.
That kind of like just set the table.
Here's what we're doing, folks. I really get the impression from it, and, you know, far be it from me to speak ill of anybody that I don't know, but I really get the impression from her that, you know, she feels that she is making the same sacrifice that he is.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she's got this she's really bought into, like, this transitive property of, like, my boyfriend's a Marine. So, I'm basically a war hero.
Yeah. Yes. So you would be very surprised at how many different, and I never stood, so when you first drive on the base, they have like ECP, like, which is like the gate guards, right? So you have to get by them. So you have to like show them your ID and be like, I need to come in the base. Here's my ID. They'll check the ID. They'll scan it and do all that shit. You would be amazed at how many like officers' wives like want to be saluted when they come on the base. Yeah, fucking disgusting, right? So like coming on the base, like everybody that stands gate guard, they're all enlisted. So for those who don't know, enlisted people are the people that essentially don't have college degrees.
Yeah.
That's how they've kind of separated the two.
Right.
Right? So like all the enlisted people will go stand gate guard watch.
Yeah.
And like the wives will come in, and like the ones that are officers' wives, they'll get mad
if you don't salute.
Yeah,
them.
not saying not all of them are like this. Like I'm not painting with a broad brush.
But
there has been enough instances where this has become an issue, where they want to be recognized by their spouses.
They just have to be the most insufferable fucking people
to
have ever lived.
Listen. And I'm not giving a pass to fucking enlisted wives either.
Yeah.
Because they're just as fucking bad. Just as fucking, if not fucking worse. Mm. Because there's been plenty of occasions where I've seen somebody post, we just made rank.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Yeah. We just made rank.
He just made rank.
Yes. It's like, fuck it, gross.
One of my favorite things
is like I can't imagine. I cannot imagine like having my identity wrapped up in somebody else's career.
Yeah.
Like do you have no self-worth? Like I understand that it's
why is it tied to someone else?
Yeah, I understand that it's difficult because you're probably moving all the time.
Yeah.
But you can't find something that you identify with that.
Yeah.
Now I get it. Like if somebody if they move up the rank. So like if say you have somebody that's like a 4-star admiral, it's like, yeah, like at that point you're a fucking politician.
Yeah.
Like the spouse is involved with the shit that you're doing.
Yeah.
Right. So like they want to see you and they want to see the spouse. Like the spouse has all this extra shit that they have to do now.
Right. Yeah. But even then only to a degree.
Yeah. It's like the first lady.
Yeah.
Right. So like the first lady, like is always, regardless of whether or not this person wants to be a politician, it's like you are
they
now.
They give them responsibilities.
You have responsibilities now.
Right.
But it's like, if you're like a fucking 01.
Yeah.
Or your husband or your spouse or your wife is an 01, shut the fuck up.
It's just got this inflated ego.
Shut up.
There's nothing wrong with being proud of your spouse.
No. But you're not getting saluted.
But, yeah, like I'm so proud of Mary and everything she's done in her career. But I claim none of that as my own success.
Yeah. What kind of fucking psychopath? It'd be like you going up to the courtroom.
Yeah.
And
like bossing around all those people.
Bossing everybody around. Like, who are you? Oh, I'm Mary's husband.
I'm Mary's wife. Okay. And? But,
But yeah, she certainly gives off like those vibes.
Oh yeah. One of my favorite things that I see like happen on Facebook is when people like a military wife will kind of like overstep their boundaries a little bit and like start acting like, like they're the president.
Yeah.
And people will just respond with "Thank you for your cervix."
Yeah.
There is like no more of a bane to a military spouse's existence than that phrase alone.
Oh yeah.
Like they just go all the alarms start going off. It's like DEFCON 1.
It's
I know that it's hard to be a military spouse.
Yeah, and what? It makes it hard for the ones that don't act like that because then they get lumped in with them.
Exactly. And I know that it's hard to be a military spouse because, I saw Allison go through it.
Yeah.
Just, moving around and, like, not seeing each other and, like, absolutely they make sacrifices too. But they're not deployed and they're not at war.
Yeah, well, it sort of stems back to this. And I really hope that I'm giving the correct person this shout out that I'm about to give them. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was old Hillary Rodham Clinton that said that women are the real ones that suffer during wartime, not the men, because the women have to go on after the men are dead. Isn't that the dumbest fucking thing?
That's the most delusional fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
That is just like this self-inflated.
Yeah.
Like, I am so fucking important.
It's like if you were over there,
and that might not be the person that said it. I think that it is.
Yeah.
But somebody
wouldn't put it past
somebody
her to say
has
something
said
like that
because I know that I've heard that on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
That has been stated.
I couldn't imagine, storming the beach of Normandy and seeing
getting your leg blown off.
Everybody I went to boot camp with die in an instant.
Yeah.
Getting my
Swiss cheesed inside of a fucking...
Swiss cheesed by fucking M239s and M240s and fucking hiding behind those steel I-beams that they all welded together that offers no coverage at all whatsoever. Yeah. Everybody that I deployed with fucking either drowned or
getting trampled as you're getting off the fucking...
And thinking to myself, as terrible as this is, at least I'm not back home in government-funded housing, sitting on a couch watching TV. That would be so hard. I don't know, like, why does everybody's struggle have to be worse than everyone else's?
Well, because nowadays, that's the currency that drives the world.
There's so much value in being a victim, right?
Yeah, correct.
But, in doing that, we kind of lose empathy for everyone else.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Right, because you're trying to one-up everyone.
Yeah. It's like...
Well, not only that, if you look at the way that, like, let's say that, like, progress and, like, achieving something, that's the currency.
Yeah.
Right? Then everybody then is trying to strive for better.
Everybody's trying to outdo one another.
Everybody's trying to outdo one another.
In their successes.
And their successes, correct.
We're trying to outdo each other in our failures.
Exactly. It's like, so eventually it's going to get to the point where nobody does anything.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, well, I ordered something off Amazon and the one-click option didn't work.
It's going to be this, like, whimpering blob.
Yeah. This is exactly what it's going to fucking turn into.
And then, people who actually do strive to make something of themselves.
Well, you see what happens with that now.
Yeah. They get ostracized.
Right? Exactly.
If you lose weight, that means you hate fat people. If you get married, that means you hate polygamists. If you, everything you do means you hate someone.
Yeah. I hate you all.
Yeah. Let it be known. I am filled with vitriolic, loathing, seething hatred for each and every one of you. Everything I do, I'm doing at you. Do you remember that episode of The Fairly Odd Parents where Timmy was tired of people making fun of his buck teeth.
Yeah.
So he wished that everybody looked exactly the same.
Yeah.
And the whole world became just this monochromatic gray world, and everybody in the world was a gray blob.
Yes, I
the
do remember
exact
that.
same color, the exact same shape. And people were still, I'm the grayest and the blobbiest.
Yeah.
So it's very deeply ingrained in us to want to stand out. And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if you stand out for a good reason or a bad reason.
Correct.
You just want to stand out.
Yeah. It's almost, it's like, it's part of the human condition, right?
I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know, because I don't feel that way.
You know, and I guess it's hard to, is it really? Or is it just like, we have it so easy now?
You like run out of problems.
Yeah, you've run out of, and not to say like there are some people that really fucking struggle still,
Have actual problems.
have actual fucking problems, right?
But you really don't hear a lot out of them.
No,
Because they're usually busy dealing with their problems.
Yeah, they're usually busy dealing with their fucking problems. Whereas like I don't have time to complain. Like I'm trying to fucking get this shit up and going, man.
Yeah.
Whereas like you have like a lot of like the complaining and stuff that happens online.
Yeah.
Like it's not
about anything real.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
It's not about anything consequential.
And like I do the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's like I'll get fucking upset because somebody is driving slow in the left-hand lane.
Okay. Here's a little bit of self-reflection. The number one thing that will drive me off the deep end, like fucking, you ever seen that movie Falling Down?
No.
Okay, well, Falling Down is a great movie. It's like a guy who's just kind of living the day-to-day, and he just goes insane by all the little like inconveniences that happen in his life. People walking slowly. I turn into a fucking animal. The thoughts that go through my mind when somebody's grandma...
Like, have like a hatchet buried in the back of their head.
When somebody's fucking sweet little grandma is in front of me in Kroger and she's taking just 1% too long just to physically move through the world, I want to go up behind her and fucking snap her fucking little gray-haired neck. And I know that's a bad thing to think, but I can't help it, man. If you're walking slowly, get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of my way.
Right, because you perceive it as being...
They're doing it to me.
Inconsiderate of others. Right, yeah.
They're walking slowly on purpose.
Yeah.
I know that's insane, but I can't. It just drives me up the fucking wall.
See, that also gets on my nerves, but it's not older people that do it that get on my nerves. Because it's fucking older people, our fucking grandmother.
Yeah, I give a pass to old people, but like, I mean...
Like, Nanny would shuffle and go real slow and then also fall down.
Well, yeah.
So, because she wouldn't pick her fucking feet up.
Yeah.
But
if you're just kind of like...
But if you are of age, like if you're fucking 25 and you're just sauntering around out in public spaces, get the fuck out of the way. Like, you sorry piece of shit. Like, fucking move.
Even people driving badly doesn't get to me as bad as people walking
See, people
slow.
driving badly, for some reason, that sets me off. Like, the vile shit that comes out of my mouth.
Yes. Like, I didn't know I was capable of stringing that sentence together.
Yeah. Especially, too, like, if I'm in the car alone.
Yeah.
Like, when Autumn's in the car, I kind of like... I still say things, but I PG it up.
Yeah.
So then it kind of sounds worse than what it actually is.
Yeah. I think one time I shouted "Get AIDS" at someone. And it was because we were in a drive-through line at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
And like the cars ahead of them had moved on.
Yeah.
But the person was just looking at their phone. They weren't paying attention. Mm-hmm. I mean, in reality, they probably sat there for 2 seconds. And then they looked up and they went. But I got so angry at them for interrupting the flow of my day, of my life, that I shouted, "Get AIDS." obviously that person doesn't deserve to get AIDS.
No.
For not going 2 seconds faster than I wanted them to.
What if that was the consequences for not going in the Chick-fil-A line? Like some Chick-fil-A employee, like in the fucking cow suit, just comes over and like jabs you with a dirty needle.
You should have fucking went. Oh, well, I should have went.
I knew what the consequences
were when I got in this line.
Everybody has to like drive by and put their arm out the window.
Yeah. Maybe what it is
that seems more like a fucking Hardee's deal.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. Well,
yeah,
Hardee's,
good luck getting Hardee's to do anything.
Yeah, Hardee's would just come over and inject grease into you, like straight out of the fryer. You know, I worked at Burger King for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And they fired me because at the time I was I was working 2 jobs.
Yeah.
I was working there and I was working at the Mexican restaurant. And I told both bosses, like, hey, you guys are going to have to work with each other with my schedule. It's like I can't obviously work the same shift. And they both said, okay, that's fine. Well, I was working my shift at the Mexican restaurant when I received a call from my boss at Burger King. And he said, hey, where are you? And I was like, well, I'm at the Mexican restaurant. He's like, well, you're supposed to be here. I was like, well, I gave you my schedule on Sunday.
Yeah.
I was like, well, you knew that I was supposed to work here. And I remember him saying to me, well, I don't understand why, you know, my ship has to sink when his can float. It's like, number one, dude, it's Burger King. Okay? Let's relax. And I'm one guy.
Yeah.
You'll be okay. And I was like, well, I don't know what to tell you. I'm already here. I'm already in my uniform. And he said, well, I'm going to go ahead and just take you off the schedule until you figure out what it is you want to do with your life.
Ooh.
Well, it's not working at fucking Burger King, buddy. I can tell you that much right now. But the 2 weeks that I worked at Burger King were like, I don't know what that was. It was so strange. Like, I remember the first day, the lady who was training me asked me to show her how I wash my hands. And she walked me over to this sink, and I rinsed my hands with water.
Yeah.
I put soap on my hands, and then I go up past the wrist.
Yeah.
And I rinse it off. That's how I wash my hands.
Yeah.
And she was fucking floored that I knew how to do that.
Yeah.
She was like, most people always forget to rinse first.
Like,
what is this
kind of
fucking clown world that I'm in right now?
Psychopath just puts fucking soap on their hands first.
On their dry hand.
Yeah. Ooh. This is like fucking like
we're not savages here.
Ooh. The thought of it.
It's like lathery.
Like this slick.
Oh, my dry hand. It'd be like just rubbing soap on, just hand soap on your hands and then wiping it off with a towel, a dry towel.
Like you might as well just like picked up a fucking slug
and
just ran it over your hands.
And just like squished it between your fingers. I'll never forget one day. By the way, if you ever go to Burger King, and I'm telling you this, it's like a trade secret, there is no way to fry 100% of the surface area of the original chicken sandwich. So,
like the long football
mashed patty looking thing. Yeah, that thing doesn't fit all the way down in the fryer. You're supposed to put it in like this little like slot on like this special basket.
Yeah,
but like there's always this one nub that doesn't make it all the way down into the fryer. And I brought it up one time. I was like, hey, can we put more oil in just to raise the level of the oil up? Or I was like, because, you know, I'm noticing that some of this chicken isn't getting cooked. And they were like, no, that's how we do it.
They're like, we don't ask questions around
We
here.
don't ask questions. We just feed the masses. They come and they get their instant fast food and they go away. They're like, all right, whatever. But one of the weeks that I was there, they had to clean the grease traps out of those buildings.
Ugh.
I mean, you know, and there's grease. There's a lot of grease. You're talking about the fryers that are going on and like the broilers and everything, because you put the patties, you take your patty, your frozen patty, and you put it on this conveyor belt, and it bump, 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 and it goes through this machine, and it comes out cooked on the other end. Well, all the grease came out, and it literally just falls to the floor. And so the floor in the kitchen is built at an incline, or a decline, rather, from the walls to the center of the building where the grease trap is.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to wear those non-slip shoes, because it's just fucking greasy floor back there.
Ugh.
So, grease, once it's not boiling, becomes a solid.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, it'll cool off before it gets to the drain.
Yeah.
And if it does get to the drain, it goes down into the drain and then becomes a solid. But eventually they have to have somebody come in and clean all that shit out.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget the day I was there when that guy came, and he moved the broiler out of the way.
Yeah.
And it was just like stalagmites of black grease,
Ugh.
like a foot fucking high off the ground around the drain. It looked like hell was coming out of the drain and spreading into the real world.
Ugh.
And he was like, watch this. And he takes
You're like, no thanks.
he takes his boot and he kicks over one of the stalactites of grease.
Yeah.
And liquid grease poured out of that, like pulling a scab off.
Ugh.
And I'm just looking at this like, that's in the food.
Ugh.
That's what made it out of the food. But the remainder of that is in somebody's gullet.
Gross. Yeah. Well, it's no wonder we're all fucking fat.
Yeah. Everything's made of sugar and salt and grease. But the smell.
I bet it smelled like
once
shit.
He stuck that Roto-Rooter down in the drain and started breaking up all that shit and vacuuming it out. I mean, you ever like found a dead cat?
Yeah.
Or like driven by like a dead animal that exploded? It'd be like if you walked over and just fucking motorboated that.
Gross.
It was such an offensive and present smell.
Yeah.
It was like up in my nasal cavity, like up in my behind my brow ridge. It was just up in there, and you couldn't get away
It was
from
like sitting in your sinus cavity.
Yeah, it was so terrible.
Ugh.
Fast food workers do not get paid enough. They don't.
Ugh. So gross.
Yeah. The whole flipping burgers thing, anybody that says that has never worked in a fast food restaurant.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
Do you feel like working in a fast food restaurant is worse than working in a normal restaurant?
Yes.
Or do you think that
100%.
Or do you think that it's just a different kind of hell that you have to endure?
Working in a normal restaurant isn't that bad. It really isn't. I mean, there are days where it's stressful and days where you don't make a whole lot of money. But I mean, if you're even somewhat sociable and likable, you have to be a real fucking cunt to not get along with anybody.
Yeah.
If that's you, you're probably the manager or the owner. But you build camaraderie with your coworkers, and some customers will come in, they'll become your regulars, and it's like you make friends. Like I met a lot of people working. I met my fucking wife working in in a restaurant. I met Satan at Burger King.
I guess maybe your experience is a little bit different than mine, simply because of the location in which you worked your job at the restaurant.
That's true. That is true.
I met some real fucking psychopaths. Right? Some of them were good people.
Yeah, mine was right next to like an affluent area.
Yeah.
Yours was in Atlanta.
Mine was next to Grant Park. Like right next to the fucking cemetery.
Yeah, but I mean, the people that you worked with were,
fucking savages.
Yeah.
Fucking savages.
That's true.
Like,
the people that you meet are interesting.
Yeah. I remember the first time, because I worked as like a busboy there for a while. Because I was working two jobs. So I was working at...
it was Simmons?
I was working at Simmons, and I was also working over there. So I was working those two jobs.
Yeah.
And then... So when I got hired on as a server, I started working there, and I got to sort of know the other, like, waiters and waitresses mostly, and like the bartenders and everything. And I remember like they would close up, and then like they would just fucking drink,
just throw down,
just start fucking drinking.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah.
We've got to be back here in like 9 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
Yes, and we're drinking.
I was like, how much did you make in tips? They're like, I'm going to drink it.
I'm just going to drink it away.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I saw things like, customers fight each other. So people would come in there and get rowdy.
I saw somebody get mugged.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I did? I got in my car and I left.
We had one.
I didn't put my nose where it didn't fucking belong.
Yeah. We had one server who started with us, and like I think a week or two into her being there, she got like a 12 top, which is like 12 people. So it was like a birthday party or something. And they had the whole back patio to themselves. So I mean, that's actually set up to be a pretty decent table. Lots of people, a good open space.
Yeah.
You can take care of one person can take care of that.
Yeah.
I think the most I ever did by myself was like 30 people.
Yeah.
And a lot of that. Well, actually, no. It was the 50 Chinese people that came in and ordered chicken fajitas. But they all got the same thing and all wanted water. It was the easiest it could have been.
Yeah.
What really fucks you up is when you get like 14 people all on separate checks. Like I'm with that person down there, and like
that's the worst.
Yeah, that that gets a little out of hand. But she got like a 12 top or something, and fucking left.
Like I'm not doing this.
She didn't tell anybody she was leaving. She just never came back. She just went away. And I remember because, like, Aaron...
Everybody's like, did she actually work here?
I was working a double that day. So I was there in the morning and I was there for the evening shift. And Aaron came in at, like, 5. And he said he saw her leaving. And was just like, all right, see you later. And then Aaron came in and starts his shift. And people are freaking out like, where's... I remember her name was Brittany or something.
Yeah.
Where's Brittany? Aaron's like, I saw her leave. And we were all kind of had this moment like, fuck.
Yeah,
her table's been sitting out there for like 45 minutes.
Yee.
Someone's got to be the one to go out there.
Yee.
And
everybody's like doing rock, paper, scissors.
I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. I walked out there. I walked out onto the back patio, and they're all just sitting there. They all look at me. And I was like,
like close the door.
I just remember walking over to him. I was like, look, I'm going to keep it straight with you guys. Your server left.
Yeah.
I was like, it's never happened. I don't know what that's about. I was like, but I'll take care of you guys.
Yeah.
So I kind of posited it as I'm doing you people a favor.
Yeah.
Like I'm picking up the slack here.
Yeah.
And, it ended up being, an easy thing to do. So, I mean, not everybody is cut out for that kind of work.
Yeah.
It does take a lot, not necessarily physically, but a lot, I guess emotionally and mentally.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it does get hard sometimes.
Yeah.
But working in a regular restaurant is leagues beyond working in a fucking fast food restaurant.
Yeah.
Working in a fast food restaurant is like so soulless and tedious.
Yeah.
And
okay, since me and you worked the same job, do you think that working as a warehouse worker is worse or better than working as a fast food worker?
I would rather work as somebody who chops his own cock off. With his own teeth. Than ever work in a fucking warehouse again.
I tell people that is absolutely the worst job I have ever worked in my life.
Yes. We talked about it on one of the previous episodes. I think it was Welcome to Health Class, sponsored by Thick Burger. I think that's episode 24. I can't really remember. But, yeah, far and away, working in a warehouse was the absolute worst. It was the most physically demanding job I've ever worked. The longest hours, the worst people. I liked maybe 2 of the people I worked with there.
Yeah.
And one of them ended up doing some really weird shit later in life. But I would never, ever, I wouldn't wish that job on my worst fucking enemy.
No.
Now, maybe it was so bad because we were working through a temp agency and they took over half of our paychecks. Yeah. So we were essentially paying to get there and back.
Yeah.
100% just time wasted.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would never work in a warehouse again.
No.
So like all those people that are working like in the Amazon warehouses and things like that, I feel you, man.
Yeah.
I feel you. I know what you're going through.
Yeah.
I 100%.
It's the worst job I've ever
and
fucking
the Amazon situation might be worse, just from what I've heard.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard like some stuff about the Amazon situation or whatever, but I just remember getting up in the back of those fucking trucks And, really...
like 150 degrees
really
in
getting
there.
the shit out of the truck wasn't the worst part. It was wrapping it with that fucking...
That saran wrap.
That saran wrap.
Yeah. There's no easy way to do that.
No.
There's no good way to do that.
No. Like, they have, like, palletizing machines that do all that shit now? Like, you could just stack it and they drive it over and it wraps it up and they take it away?
Yeah. They don't fucking know what it's like, man. They weren't in the suck.
Yeah, by far and away... That is the worst job I have ever worked in my life.
Did I ever tell you about the multi-level marketing scheme that I almost got roped into right before I started working at the warehouse?
No.
So
Do tell.
so at the time I was looking for a job, and it wasn't like it is now. There was like nobody was hiring.
Yeah.
And I was putting out applications and everything. So when you put out application, you give these places your email and your phone number. Yeah. And, people sell that information. They've been doing that. So I got a phone call from this lady who was like, hey, this is so-and-so from such and such staffing. We wanted to see if you would be interested in a position working as, customer service rep for Microsoft. And I was like...
You're like, fuck yeah.
I was like, well, yeah, I can do that. They were like, awesome. Yeah, your friend Trent has been working with us for so-and-so or however long, and, he makes good money.
Yeah.
And they're just name-dropping my friend that they, went on my Facebook page, and I'm like, that guy.
Yeah.
And it never even occurred to me to ask Trent anything about that. I was just like, okay.
Yeah. Like, you seem like you're a reliable source of information.
Yeah. So whoever that was, kudos to you. You did your job perfectly. So they give me like this address. It's like all the way out in Smyrna. So it's a haul. They're like, this is just where you're going to go for your orientation and your, put in your application, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. So I go all the way out there. Yeah, they told me I could work from home. That was before that anybody even
nobody's doing
considered
that. Yeah.
what that was.
It's like back in 2010.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, even before
2009.
that. So I drive all the way out there, and I go it's like this like office complex, and they're like, go to the suite or whatever. And I walk in, and there's like 5 or 6 like middle-aged women sitting in like this like lobby area. They're all like filling out information on a clipboard.
Yeah.
Like, oh, these must be other people here applying for the job. And when I walked in, the woman at the counter, she goes, "Are you Mr. Wright?" I was like, yes. She was like,
oh.
Yeah. I was like, so they're really selling me, man.
This is the only dude that's coming in today.
So I was like, yes, that's me. And she's like, well, awesome. She was like, if you'll fill out this, application, bring it back to me, and we'll all get started here in a moment. And I was like, oh, we're going to have like a group interview? That's kind of odd.
Yeah.
So I fill out all my information and everything. And about, 20, 30 minutes later, this guy... in like this like Armani suit and like just fucking iced out, man.
Yeah.
He walks out and he was like, how would you people like to look like me?
You're like, uh-oh.
I was like, here we go. I was like, I think this might be a scam.
Yeah.
I'm young at the time. But even then, I'm kind of like...
Yeah, some red flags are being raised, yeah.
So they bring us into this room. I haven't seen anything about fucking Microsoft.
No.
Nothing. They bring us into this room, and we sit down, and he's got like a table just like this one here. And he sets out like this box, and he starts talking he starts throwing out all these words like self-sufficiency, entrepreneurship, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And he opens up the box, and in the box are several knives and a pair of scissors. And he was like, these knives are crafted by the finest steelwork metallurgists in Japan. They've existed for hundreds of thousands of years. He's just selling this thing.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah. I'm the only person who's not like, ooh. All these other ladies that are in here with me are like, sit forward in their seats, and I'm kind of like,
You're like eyeballing this dude.
Yeah. He takes a pair of scissors out, and he goes,
just like cuts a piece of paper.
Well, he takes a pair of scissors out, and he goes, ma'am, tell me what you do with scissors. And she was like, cut yarn, cut paper, sometimes open packages. And he was like, have you ever, I don't know, cut a penny in half? And she was like, no, I've never done that. He goes, well, these scissors can. And he grabs a penny out of his pocket. And to his credit, he cuts the penny in half with the pair of scissors. Now, if I had to guess, that was probably fake.
Yeah.
For one thing. But all the other ladies in here with me are like, oh my, wowie. And I'm like, I am not on board with this. I didn't say a goddamn thing throughout this entire presentation. And of course, it eventually gets to the point where if you buy the first 200 sets of these knives and you sell them, we'll supply you with the however many more you want to sell, and you keep 100% of the proceeds. Yeah. He pulls out this pie chart. You can make this much money, and you're for blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And he goes, now I'm going to call all you into my office separately, in order to kind of gauge, your whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm getting this job. I was like, he's going to give this job to me. And so we walk in there, and he's like, Mr. Wright, tell me about, how would you approach a situation where a customer maybe didn't want to let you into their house? I was like, well, I would just level with them. I'm a real person, too. I've got, things going on in my life, and I'm really selling this guy.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to match him.
Yeah.
And he's fucking buying it. And I remember his face lighting up as I'm telling him all the shit that he wants to hear.
He's like, oh, he's a bullshitter like me.
Yeah. He's like, they say you can't bullshit a bullshitter. I bullshit that guy. And he was like, Mr. Wright, I can't tell you how excited I am to have you on our team. He was like, you've got the job. He was like, there's 4 other people coming in behind you. He was like, you're the one, man. And I was like, I knew it. I was like, as soon as I walked in here, man, I knew it. We stood up. We shook hands. We talked about fishing. I don't fucking fish.
Yeah.
I never came back. I just left. He gave me all this information, all these things, call this number, blah, blah, blah. I just fucking went home. He never saw me again. I wonder if any of those other women, now granted, he probably did the same exact thing to them. Like, I knew you were the one as soon as you walked in here, whatever. But I really hope that those other women eventually figured out, this is just...
Yeah.
This is just
They're not going to sink a couple $1,000s into something that's going to have no return.
No. I wish I remembered the name of that company. It's probably something like, Cutlery Solutions. It just has several other businesses that come off of it. So it can't really be traced back to any one person or any one conglomerate.
You should have got up and then the whole salesman voice, have you, let me ask you a question real quick. You ever eaten a whole bag of dicks? It just walked out. These are the finest dicks from Sweden.
These dicks are crafted by the finest dick crafters that have existed for thousands of years.
Deep in the mountains of Norway.
Speaking of crafting dicks, there's got to be dildo factories, right?
I have always said that. So I said one time, I said, this warehouse job really sucks.
Yeah.
However, could you imagine being the person that does fucking QC checks on the dildo line at the dildo factory?
Yeah. I mean, think about what...
just standing there all day long and all these...
grabbing rubber cocks.
All these fake cocks are just going by you.
Just inundated. Yeah. With phalluses. Oh, there's a big one. I mean, if you think about, what...
Somebody has to do it.
Well, yeah. I mean, think about, the reason why somebody would buy a dildo, right? Who's testing the dildo to make sure that it serves that purpose? I mean... Obviously, there's not somebody at the end of the line every single one that comes by. At least I would hope not. But maybe they've got a fake vagina, right? Sitting on a counter. Maybe. They stick it in there. That one's good. That one's good.
I would just imagine, like, there's no way you could do a bring your kid to work day.
No.
There's no way.
No.
And also, do you think that inside of the dildo factory that they are also making other products? Like, what if they're doing like slap chops on one side and like dildos on the other? It's like, God, I really hope I'm working the slap chop line today.
I mean, how much R&D goes into a dildo, right?
They keep
Like,
coming out with them, so I mean,
they keep coming out with like fucking iPhones. I just imagine like one of those really like super stylish like iPhone like commercials. Like it's all like black and white. They show the silhouette of the dildo.
I could just see like, I guess at like the dildo convention or whatever, there's like some dude comes up in like a turtleneck.
Yeah, like a pair of whitewashed jeans with no belt, sneakers on. The new Flounder Pounder 3000. Everybody in the crowd, yeah.
It was like waving their dildos around.
With their inflatable dildos. Like those inflatable things you bang together. This is the big wieners.
They like he like goes up there. You'd be like, was that E3 convention that they did where like The Rock went up there?
Yeah. Or the Keanu Reeves. You're breathtaking.
He's like got a dildo. He's like, you're breathtaking.
Throwing him out to the crowd. There's people walking out of the convention with swag bags, just like full to the brim of rubber wieners. It comes with Bluetooth. You can keep your contacts on it.
You're like, why? Why not?
Why not?
I mean, I would assume
I bet there's got to be some like
there's a market for it. People keep buying them, so
people, since the history of time have been putting things in themselves, and you can't stop them. They're going to keep doing it. I just imagine there's like an office building somewhere, and there's like a whiteboard on the wall with people like drawing up like here's our product design, here's a concept image, and it's like it's just a fucking rubber penis.
Yeah, like what's it like cocks all over the wall. I wonder if that space is dominated by women or men.
I don't. If there's equality anywhere, it's in the people that are buying dildos.
Yeah. Okay, so it would either have to be mostly women or mostly gay men.
Yeah. Or men who claim to be straight.
Or men who claim to be straight and live a life of Christianity and lie to themselves every day when they get up. And they live in this loveless marriage with 3 children.
It's like, it's not my fault God put my G-spot in my ass. I'm just a victim of biology over here.
Oh, God.
I mean, I've seen, like... If you ever been to like a novelty shop, is what they call it, right? I actually kind of have a little bit of a story about that. So there's those novelty shops, there's sex shops down in Panama City called Condom Knowledge.
Oh.
You've probably driven by one or seen one. They're everywhere down there.
Yeah. Well, I lived behind a strip club for a while that also had a novelty shop attached to it.
I thought it was a strip club and a gun range.
No, it was a liquor store, a novelty shop, and a strip club.
All in one.
All in one. And then right next to it was like a faux place.
Dude, you could have a whole day there, just on that one road, that one block. Make an evening out of it.
And the funniest part about it is like you'd drive by and there's like all these beat up Toyota Corollas, and there's like this one like Corvette Stingray that was sitting out there. And that's the owner.
That's the owner. So, yeah, this place called Condom Knowledge down in PCB, and there are probably in other places too, but I was probably 12 or 13 at the time, and me and Dad and Nanny were riding in the truck, and I saw that place, and I was like, oh, it's a play on words. I was like, I get that. I was like, that's probably like a practical joke shop.
Yeah.
And I kept telling Dad, like, I want to go in that store, and Dad's like,
we're not going in that store.
We're not going in that store. And I just kept pestering him about it. I was like, I really want to go in there and see what's in there. He's like, all right. So Dad pulls up into the parking lot. And neither him nor Nanny went in with me. He was like, go ahead and go on in. And I walk in, and the first thing I saw was this big-ass butt plug. It was probably like the same diameter of a basketball.
Yeah.
I don't know who that's for.
But you probably didn't even know what that was at the time. You're like, where does that go?
Well,
or did it have a picture of like an ass on it?
it had pictures. And there was also several fake penises and adult DVDs. And I'm far too young to be in this building. And I didn't really know what to do. And I'm a 13-year-old little boy. And the lady behind the counter just looks at me like, can I help you? And I walked over to the counter. I remember just going, nope. And I walked out, and I just got back in the truck, and Dad was like, "Do you see anything in there you like?" And I was like, I did not, Dad.
Yeah, I have wondered that. It's like, what would it be like? I mean, I guess it's no worse than like maybe working in like a fucking Amazon warehouse. I mean, what would be worse, working in the Amazon warehouse or working in the dildo warehouse?
Well, do I get to sit down at the dildo warehouse? Like on a
Yeah,
stool?
but all the chairs have dildos on them.
Like sit on a dildo. It's a real catch-22, man. I don't know.
They're like, oh, you're going to stand all day.
Yeah. I think just warehouses in general.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the product is. It's just such a fucking long hours. It's hard work. It's unrewarding.
Yeah.
You know, there might be somebody who really loves it, who, you know, that was their passion, was working in a warehouse, but it sure as fuck wasn't mine.
No. It's awful stuff.
Yeah. Terrible. Do you remember when they told us to throw away all those boxes of terry towels? So there was a like trash compactor or something out on one of the bays, and you would just throw stuff in there, and like this thing is like a hydraulic. The amount of force that thing crushes with is probably unfucking believable.
Yeah.
And there was like no guardrails around it. Remember, you could just walk up to the edge of it?
Yeah.
I mean, I think you could probably flatten a car engine.
Oh, yeah.
So they would just have us throw, like, if a box was ripped open, even if all the product inside was intact, they're like, just you got to throw it in the, I guess it's procedure. You got to throw it in this machine. Well, one day they were like, Gary and Wes, take all these boxes and go throw them in the trash compactor. And they're full to the brim of terry towels.
Yeah.
They were like in plastic bags, totally fine.
There's nothing wrong with them.
There was nothing wrong with them. And we said, what if instead we toss them off the side here? And after our shift-ins, we'll just swing by and take them.
I think that was my last day there.
That was my last day, too. I think they watched the tapes and didn't call us back in.
No, I told them I was quitting to go work full-time at the restaurant.
Well, they never called me back in.
Yeah, well.
No. Yeah, that was just, soul-crushing. Hey, I wouldn't want to do that, and I wouldn't want to be the QC guy at the dildo factory.
No. Yeah, you know, what do you think like the retirement thing would be for somebody that works at the dildo factory?
Like instead of a golden watch?
They have like a gold watch, but instead of the arms, it's just wieners.
Is it a gold dildo? They're like, this thing is raw gold, so don't put it inside you. And I understand that kind of defeats the purpose of the thing, but it's like you'll get metal poisoning.
Yeah, I always... plus only that, but it's like up until like probably like normal times, like people weren't like as open about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So do you think that like before there couldn't have been like companies that were making these things? Like
somebody had to be making.
Like it had to have been like some fucking weirdo in his basement somewhere, like doing molds, right?
Yeah. Wonder what he used to make the dye. I mean, they have things like that where you can cast your own wiener.
Yeah, but that's like a normal like day thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Like this isn't like back in like the 50s. There's not like There's not like some dude like coming home from like the dildo factory. Like,
yeah. What's for dinner, honey? Yeah. She's like, hot dogs. God fucking damn it. Well, you know, they say that the first ever vibrator was that Cleopatra had it. and it was a jar full of bees.
That's dangerous.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there were some precautions taken so that she didn't unleash bees in her vagina. But I mean, people, as long as there's been people have been masturbating.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well, I mean, it's such like a biologically driven thing to do, right? Like your body is kind of like whatever like is inside of you as far as like your consciousness.
Yeah.
Is like that thing is totally separate.
Yeah.
From like
the meat bag that it operates.
This meat bag that's demanding you do things.
Yeah, and it wins quite often.
Yeah, and it wins a lot of the times. Like,
I mean, there's fucking chimpanzees and even dogs will do that shit themselves.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's as long as there's been sentient life, we've been rubbing it out ever since the Big Bang.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that they call them marital aids have been in production for quite some time.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and I think that the crazy thing is like you kind of like see like waves of it like being more acceptable. Like you see like in the Roman Empire, like you kind of see it become like more like everybody kind of becomes more accepting of like the sexuality or whatever it is.
Became very liberal.
Yeah, and then like you go back to like Puritan like America.
They had sex with their clothes on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it's like, do not gaze upon.
Yeah. Do not look upon thine eyes. That is where the devil lies. She touched my cheek during coitus. Burn her at the stake. She's like, dear God, I just wanted some fucking intimacy. Yeah. Sex just hurts. I haven't bathed in a week.
At that point, she's probably like, fucking just get it over with.
Yeah, fucking kill me. I don't care anymore.
I don't care anymore. What a shitty time to... I think out of all the times to be alive, that would be the worst.
What, like during like colonial times?
Yeah, colonial times would be the worst. I would rather be alive during any other time than colonial times. I'd rather be alive during fucking, I don't know, Genghis Khan.
Yeah. Because if you were going to die of something, it'd be having your head chopped off like everybody else.
Yeah. Not burned alive at a fucking stake.
Yeah. Or like have rocks tied to your feet and dropped in a lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I might have already mentioned this before. Apparently, there's a type of fungus that grows on wheat that can cause like psychedelic experiences, and that they can trace that back. And during that time in that area, there was an outbreak of that fungus on wheat that those people were eating. So they think that a lot of that might have been driven by people having bad trips.
Thinking that they're seeing witchcraft and whatnot?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think we talked about that on one of our remote episodes where it was because I had brought up the dancing plague or the dancing feet or whatever. I said everybody danced themselves to death. And that's not what happened. Just spreading misinformation casually.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. It's always amazing to me, like, if you look through history, like, some of the horrific shit that, like, people do to other people.
Yeah. We went all down that rabbit hole of, like, all the different fucking, like, torture devices and things like that. I mean, it'll, if it ever gets to a point where we can, like, straight up upload our consciousness to, like, a machine, that's when it's really going to get out of hand. Yeah. That's when it's going to get real bad. Because people are going to find a way to fuck with other people.
Oh, yeah. Well, I remember we talked about that, too. It was like when they were talking about, what was it? Elon Musk doing the Neuralink thing. It's like you have some fucking Sergey over in fucking Ukraine just catching people's consciousness, like, out of thin air and then trapping them inside some type of hell.
Yeah, that, like, lasts for eternity.
Yeah.
But it really only, like, transpires with, like, in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to wait for the first few iterations of that to go by before I decide to become a part of it. Yeah. Yeah, you never buy the first generation of something.
No. I'm not interested.
Yeah, no thanks.
Not interested.
I like my real hell here on Earth.
Yeah. It would be like going into like the metaverse and then not being able to leave.
Yeah.
It's like it's like the Matrix.
It's exactly like
right. It's like the Matrix.
Yeah. But instead of everybody looking like cartoon characters, they just like it looks real.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the existential dread of that is
Ugh.
There's too much for my my real living conscious being.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of like I saw a commercial for the metaverse the other day where it was like this person was like they like looked outside and they had like sad face.
Yeah.
And they're like oh, and then they like put on the metaverse thing.
Oh, that's right. I can escape reality.
Yeah, and they're like work out, and the person's like swinging the Beat Saber thing, and they're like, "Whoo, that was a good workout." I was like, "Just fucking go outside, go outside and walk around, just walk around and
touch grass.
Yeah, touch grass.
Go look at the
Ooh,
trees.
the sun."
Like we have national parks with some of the most breathtaking natural like formations and scenery that you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, why do that when you can strap plastic to your head and ruin your fucking eyeballs? Don't forget to fuck your fake cock. Don't forget to order your sodas. Have them delivered to you immediately by a stranger.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I get it, right? Like, it's amazing what technology can do.
Yeah.
Like, if you would have put that on somebody's head in the 1950s, it'd have blown their fucking mind. They wouldn't have understood what the fuck was going on. Somebody'd been like, hey, put this on your head.
Yeah.
And they'd put it on their head. And
like, you're in the Himalayas now.
You're like, whoa.
Yeah. Oh, my God, I'm actually really here.
I'm here, right?
And I fully believe that, too, because the first time I put on the Oculus, I was like, my brain was like, wait a minute, we're actually here.
Yeah.
Like, it really is incredible technology. But, I mean, it's kind of scary to think, like, that might just become reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like they're just pushing it so hard that, like, they're trying to make that the norm now as opposed to what the norm is.
Yeah.
Like, what that should be is something that's like, oh, that's just like a little the cherry on top, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like this little thing that you do. It's fun. It's a little game that you get to play instead of being like, hey, you're going to spend all your time in this virtual world and, you know, you'll own like virtual property.
Yeah.
And like have you heard people talk about
people
paying millions of dollars, millions of real dollars?
Yeah, for virtual real estate.
For virtual real estate.
Yep.
It's like, you know, I could, you know, go make some virtual real estate and I'll sell it to you.
Yeah. I got
what do you
Blender
like,
is free.
Yeah.
I'll make you a crazy looking beach.
Yeah. You mean to like get on fucking I'll sell you a Minecraft server. You can go live there.
Yeah.
Like that's just the most absurd thing.
This fucking H.R. Geiger Orwellian hellscape we've created for ourselves.
Yeah. It's such an absurd I don't get it.
Yeah.
Has it passed me by?
It might be what it is. Technology's finally outpaced us. Because when we were younger, we said we were going to keep up with everything, and now everything is new is scary.
Yeah.
And it's cringy.
Yeah, I don't. It's just. I see like where it would be like entertaining for like a younger person or whatever.
Yeah.
Because like we really got pulled into video games when we were younger, right?
Yeah.
Because it was like, whoa, it was like this different world. Like
Yeah.
I get to be this character in this world. It's like it's telling a story.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so I get to be a part of this story that's being told. So I guess in that sense, it does make sense. As like, however, it's like when you're saying...
But the lines between weren't as blurred.
Yeah.
Like what we were seeing was on a screen surrounded by the real world.
Right.
With the headset, that is the whole world when you're in
Correct.
that. When you're in that. I mean, and they have things like haptic feedback vests. So, like, you wear this vest, and somebody in the virtual world comes up and they poke you on the chest. The thing will vibrate like as if you've been poked.
Yeah.
And that makes it even more real.
Right. And it's like, okay, then what happens when you take the fucking headset off? You get this fucking hormone dump.
Yeah.
Because you're back in this room.
Yeah, you're back in
and you're
this...
like, fuck, I'm going to put the headset back on.
Yeah.
So you put the fucking
all the colors are washed out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's the point of this?
Yeah. I'm going to go to my virtual beachfront property.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're just sitting in an empty room with a box on your head. Life.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when you like look at I guess what they're saying is like, why go outside and exercise when you can put this thing on your head and flail your arms around?
Yeah.
Like
Exercise.
Do
this. Whee! Listening to the new Doja Cat song and whack blocks with sticks.
Okay, who is Doja Cat?
I just know that name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, beyond that, that's the extent of my knowledge of that person.
I don't know who this person is.
I don't know if that's a girl or a boy. Could be both. Who knows? I have no idea. That might not even be a real person.
No clue.
You know that in Japan they have a fake pop star, like a
Why does that not surprise me?
It's called like Hatsune Miku or something like that. You've probably seen
Yoshimitsu?
it before. No. From fucking Soul Calibur. It's like that anime girl character with the long blue hair. You might have seen it before. It's pretty prevalent on the internet.
Probably. I'd probably seen it like in a meme or something like that.
But it's not like voiced by a real person. Like it's 100% completely digital.
Really?
And it puts on concerts, and people go and see this virtual thing in concerts.
Is that sort of like the one that they did for Fortnite, where like it was like that rapper or whoever it was?
That was an event like in the game.
Yeah.
These people go to a real physical location to watch a cartoon character put on a concert. Yeah, it's fucking bizarre. It's like, have you've seen like the Dolly AI generated images and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that thing is capable of, like the art that thing can create, is so far beyond what humans can do. And it's very odd to look at it too, because your brain can't really focus on. It can't make complete 100% sense of what it's looking at.
Yeah.
It's almost understandable. It's like 99% understandable. So AI is already getting to the point where we might enter a point where everything that we consume media-wise is 100% AI generated.
Yeah, we're already there.
So, I mean,
and most of the people that like, especially too when like I get online and stuff, and like I see like somebody post some crazy shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not a real person.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a bot.
That's a bot. But yeah, maybe it's just, is it really, or are we just writing it off? Are we just hand waving?
I'm just writing it off at this point because
it makes me feel better.
It makes me feel better about the state of the world.
But we're real. What's happening right here? This is real. Thiccboi's podcast is real. If nothing else, anything else in your life, this is real. No
or maybe it's not.
Or maybe it's not. Maybe we're 100% AI generated and we're aware. Well, I think that's all we got time for today, everybody.
Yeah, sorry we got off on that dildo factory tangent.
Yeah, it's and things just happen. Conversations go the way they go. I want to say thank you, everybody who's been listening. We've actually, the past week, I've had several people reach out to me and tell me how much they're enjoying the podcast and that they always listen. And we really do appreciate everybody who continues to listen and has a real interest in the podcast. I mean, we get in here and we just talk about whatever, but we try to keep it entertaining to some degree. So yeah, thank you so much, everybody. We say it every time, but we really do mean it. We really appreciate the support.
Yeah, and if you get a chance, don't forget to leave a like on whatever your platform is, or give it a rating, or leave a comment.
That'll help. That'll help appease the algorithm gods.
Yeah, helps with the algorithm. And the nice thing about it too now is that we kind of have a backlog. So if somebody gets, they catch the most recent episode. Yeah. Now there's more episodes to go back and listen to.
Yeah. There's if this is the first episode somebody listens to, there's 33 more episodes to go listen to, so they could binge it. We're bingeable now.
Exactly.
To a certain degree. And then when they listen to all of them, they're like, man, these guys haven't posted in 5 weeks. But so thanks again, everybody. Is there anything you'd like to close with?
Nope. Just once again, thank you so much for the support. We really do appreciate it. And just if you enjoy what we're doing, don't forget to interact with us once a week on Facebook.
Yeah, once a week when we post our thing.
We post our thing
once a week
on Thursday or Friday.
Yep.
And just thank you. Thank you so much. We do appreciate it.
All right, everybody. Thank you and goodbye.
Bye, everyone.